Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another dynamic and insightful episode of Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. You got my head down, old red face here, crushing the workout this morning. Good morning, good time. Good to see you in the comments first thing this morning. Your first one up. Today we're unpacking. Unpacking. Yep. We're going to bring the voice out. Today we're unpacking the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. It's funny, man, Jimmy. I used to call it Stoicism. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Oh, by the way, this is an R-rated show, so I might drop some words that might offend some kids, so I'd invite you to put the headphones in. And hey, Stoicism, to show you how ancient strategies can skyrocket modern success. And you ever wondered if lifting weights could sharpen more than your physique? Well, stick around. Science says those curls might just make you smarter. Coming up later in the community corner, Lilian Santini joins us to break down why true branding isn't about logos. It's about feeling authenticity and purpose. Yeah. Purpose-driven impact. And speaking of impact, we're diving into intermittent fasting. I've tried it. I did. You saw my picture? What's going on? Have a good day. Good morning. Hi. I see you there. I know Johnny's tried a little bit of intermittent fasting too, but not for the reasons you think. No. Maybe there's some discipline reasons. We're going to talk about it today in the lab. What else we got on the agenda today? We got Justin joining us this morning as well. But like I said, I invite you to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share your thoughts below, and heads up, this is an R-rated experience. And hey guys, just a reminder, do not be 9 minutes late. You're 9 minutes late. You're already going to be 9 minutes behind the guy who did not choose to hit the snooze button this morning. So Jimmy, let's set it up, brother. Let's get into it. Let's dive straight into today's first juicy topic on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. What's going on, my brother from another mother, Johnny Anderson, kicking after it in Mexico this morning?
What's up, baby? How are you?
How are you, pal? How are you?
I'm definitely doing, I would say I'm back to probably, yesterday was doozy, man. Oh, it was actually kind of fun. You know,
dude, I got to tell you, man.
I so embraced it because it was like, I was so tired. It was like I was drinking.
You were having...
I was a little goofy, so I was like, I'm just going to enjoy this. I don't drink. I might as well enjoy this feeling.
Dude, you totally were. Your energy yesterday, I swear. So I've known you now for a little bit over a year. I've never seen you that way yesterday. You were like, you're hungover. You were like in like a car brain fog. And you know what it's like because we've all been there, but you were actually like you were in a fog yesterday, weren't you?
Oh, I was, and the thing was, I was like stemmed out of my brain. I drank so much coffee. I was everything I could find in the house. I even took a little pre-workout. I was just like, you know, as an old pre-workout I got sitting in the cupboard from years ago. I was doing a promotion, you know. Yeah. So, but anyways, I got some better sleep tonight. Actually, one of my buddies down here, he's a big hunter. And so he basically he hunts like elk, and so he had us over for these big elk steaks, which is, you know, true. That's like as organic as it gets.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was eating that. It was like my body was saying, keep eating this. It was crazy. My body knew it's what it needed. And I got some sleep last night, but normally, you know, up to this point, I've been waking up before my alarm, like pretty substantially, sometimes like at 2:15, you know?
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna have to work my way back there, boy, because that alarm hit today, and it was like somebody was beating me up with a fucking trash can lid. But I got up, and you know, and actually, when I tried something new, I'm always looking at these things as opportunities. You know. Yes,
of course.
I was so freaking in my back. I was tired, and my back was really stiff for whatever reason. But I don't know. I ripped and workout yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, I've always heard about these different forms of I don't use the word meditation, but people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what I did is I basically put this thick pillow on the ground and I laid in kind of really open position so I could stretch my back out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And did my solution create my problem solving / solution creating time.
Yes.
Dude, it was pretty freaking nuts because, you know, now I've actually even taken gravity out of play.
Oh yeah.
I never thought about that before. I was just sitting there going, Jesus Christ, my neck is fucking kinked. I can't get comfortable. You know, I'm like, I'm never going to count I'm going to count to 2 billion before I get in here today. So I was like, let's just go to the ground, laid there. And it was like, I could just kind of feel myself drift in. I got real quiet, real quick. And God, I came up with some good shit today.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad. I'm
gonna try keeping gravity out of play more often.
Oh, interesting. I can feel the sense of difference in your energy this morning. Good morning, Enzo from the future. Good to have you here this morning. Are we having a January this year? Yes, right around the corner, the midway point of the year. We are absolutely going to January. Marty and Keith launched January last year, which was, for all the motherfuckers that didn't hit their January goals. We launched this idea of January, which is a halfway. It's like the reminder of dudes. Like we talked a couple weeks ago. It's like everybody.
You're urging people to be just a little less pathetic.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. No, it's actually the reminder that when you sat down in January, when you listened to Keith and Johnny in January saying it's January, guys, you got a year to get your shit in place. And then it's a reminder from Keith, Johnny, and Marty in June going, guys, remember that conversation we had in February when you didn't want to get into those swim trunks in June, but you're still feeling fat? Well, it's here now.
I understand the concept, but I love it. But what people don't understand, if they got to the root of this, so you're going to make a New Year's resolution, which means you fucking waited months to start something.
Yes.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, it's the
average men are just too busy to start. Elite men, they fucking make the time. They find the time to start whatever they need to do. That's why they're elite.
Yes, I agree with you. Enzo, you're right, man. This is good. This year is going to be the next level with John. We got Justin Blackman hanging on the green room. Justin, I see you there, brother. We'll bring you up here in a number of minutes. Hey, Jimmy, so let's get that. So, Johnny, I saw something last week, which is pretty crazy, man.
Sorry to interrupt, but you see Enzo's comment the other day? He said this show used to be PG, and then
I know.
What the fuck, Enzo? Come on, but was it really that fucking? Was it really that PG before?
No. We just loosened the trap. Hey, anybody who's hung out with us long enough has seen the evolution of the show. I was watching some videos when I first sat this thing. I was sitting here all polite and kind. Who the fuck is that guy? But hey, listen. Imagine being able to speak your final words even after death, brother. I found something. This is crazy, man. Groundbreaking case that's stirring ethical debates across the nation. An Arizona man, Jimmy, cue this up, brother, killed in a road rage incident. Johnny, he returned through an AI-generated video to address his killer in court. So for the victim...
Did he really come back, or is this just...
The first time in U.S. history, they created an AI-generated version of a deceased victim, and he delivered his courtroom impact statement to the person who killed him.
But the real human was actually dead.
Yes, but they recreated him as an AI-generated video, and Jimmy's going to run it for us. The incident in November 21, 37-year-old Army veteran Christopher Pelly was fatally shot.
Did they tap into his fucking memory somehow?
Well, so they created a video. So we're going to show it here in a second. So the AI statement during sentencing last month, Johnny, Pelkey's family unveiled a lifelike AI recreation of him, complete with, good time. Complete with facial expressions, his signature.
Was this on a screen or was this a fucking 3D thing?
Yeah, playing inside of the courtroom.
But it was a 3D or was it like on a screen?
Yeah, let's Jimmy, let's pull it up and show it up if you can, brother.
Chris Pelkey was shot and killed in a road rage incident. This happened in the fall of 2021. The shooter was just sentenced this month. But ahead of that sentencing, an AI-generated version of Chris Pelkey gave a victim statement, who forgave the shooter.
Stacey Wales has plenty to remember her little brother by.
This is his dress uniform.
But she'd trade it all.
No, Jimmy, let's cue it up there, brother. Jimmy, you lost it there, pal.
Pelkey survived multiple overseas tours in the military, but back on the grave.
It became so real that I broke down in tears.
Tim
probably could have been friends. I believe in forgiveness and in God who forgives. I always have, and I still do.
I love that AI. Thank you for that.
The state asked for 9.5 years. The judge gave 10.5 for manslaughter. We asked the Arizona Supreme Court about the general use of AI in courtrooms.
Jimmy, can you run it back for a quick second there, Jim? Yeah, so anyways, they recreated this guy. Sorry, it didn't work out like I was hoping it was going to. I thought we could download the video here, but they essentially recreated a video version of the guy who he could address the killer in court. Now, don't kid yourselves. this is only a tip of the iceberg of what the future is bringing. How do you guys feel about that?
That's pretty nutty, dude. I mean, but I guess what I'm kind of, so they didn't really tap into what happened. They're just saying, this is who he is. We know who he is. So we're going to bring in and you can address, like, so it wasn't like he was bringing some evidence to the table. He was just addressing the kill like, I forgive you.
That's exactly it, Johnny. So, you know, I'm sure you know that in courts these days, they have those victim impact statements, right? Where the family usually will, so, you do something to me, something happens to me, my family goes to court and addresses you as a victim impact statement. Well, what they did this time was not the family addressing the killer. They actually had the victim address the killer using an AI generated version of himself, which is craziness, man. Right? Just
well, what's the purpose though?
Well,
what's the significance? You know, what is
see,
the
Mark,
difference?
that's what I was thinking, Mark. I was like, well, are they bringing evidence to the table, or is this just more of like letting the victim have his voice because he's not there?
Well, it's a legitimate question. It's absolutely a legitimate question, which is, why did they bring it back? And part of me wonders if it was, and again, the family brought this to life. Part of me wonders if it's for the family healing. Part of me wonders if it's to show the technology evolving. Because to your point, Marty, it doesn't move anything forward. Nothing changes as a result of it. But what it, I think, does demonstrate to perhaps the killer, I don't know how the killer is feeling when the AI version of himself, the AI version of the victim represents that. But to me, it was more so the conversation around, like, this is just the beginning, boys. Like this. Hey, so Johnny, this is not even thinking about what you were going in your head, which was, okay, did they recreate a 3D version of the guy, like through his memory and everything? No, this was literally just a video, just like there are AI versions of me today out there. So if I can't get in front of the camera, Jimmy and Melissa can create an AI version of Keith. This is very much that same way. But John, Marty, this is just the tip of the iceberg about what is coming.
Oh yeah, there's no question about that.
Right. So we got go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know how the family. If I were the family, I probably there's a part of me that might not want to see that.
Well, that's interesting, right? That's kind of the point here. That's why I thought it was somewhat controversial or topical to discuss, because Marty, we're in a family together, and you're like, no, I don't want that fucker. I don't want that guy. I don't want my dad's AI version of himself. So you can imagine the discussion happening in the family, Marty, with that whole thing. It's an interesting thing, right? So, good morning, everybody. Here's Keith, John, and Marty here on Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends. We got Justin Blackman hanging out in the green room, coming up here in a couple of minutes. I see you in the comments there, Ragu. I see you there, Roofy. You're still kind, actually kinder with all masks off. Max kindness happens when the mask is off. We got fit presenter Mike McQuillan joining us from Peru with Shake and Mike. Someone asked, does God exist? Well, an AI monster responded, not yet. And then Good Time comes in with Elon said his robots are starting to learn by watching videos like YouTube. Yes, actually, I saw some videos this week that were dropped.
Terry, I got to say this whole robot thing, dude. Terry saw this video of one of these robots fucking dancing MC Hammer. She's like, well, what else could it do? So she started asking chat, what can these things do? What can they do around the house? She's like, this fucking thing can do everything we need. So we're actually looking for a house manager. Yeah. The problem is finding the person you want in your space.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. She's like, honey, these things are going to be like only 30 grand. This thing will pay for itself overnight. So she says she can't wait for these things to come out.
I love Terry, man. Terry just knows. Terry just actually knows. Terry just got it sorted out, brother. I love it. That's because that's exactly it. That's and you get yourself a figure robot, 20, 30 grand, and Bob's your uncle, man.
Well, my first question was, I said, how is the space awareness? Like when we got one of those robot vacuums that came out, right? Yeah. That thing's like a fucking Mack truck banging around.
Yes, I know.
Running over fucking I ran over a fucking turd, spread that thing all over one of our spare beds.
Oh man.
Oh, buddy. Yeah.
Marty, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, that robot's fucking accidentally elbowing holes in the wall and shit. It's
that's crazy, man. We got the accountability checking coming up in a second. Marty, what were you gonna say, brother?
I was just I forgot. Fuck.
I know what you were gonna say. You were gonna say, because I had to choose between the AI generated dead guy.
Oh, I was gonna say this. I know what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think they study our social media, man.
They do,
because I was having a conversation with ChatGPT the other day, and it started talking like me.
It's how it learns, man. It's how it learns.
No bullshit. Yeah, I thought that was crazy.
Meta's creating the largest AI models out there as we keep just feeding it with all of our texts and pictures. But I'll tell you guys, I had to choose this morning. I had to choose between talking about the AI dead guy or about the young lady that slept with 563 men.
She got arrested.
No, that's a different one, Marty. That's Bonnie Blue. There's a new one that just made the news this morning that did 563. Guys, we'll get to this conversation. What's going on with society? Jimmy, get everybody up. Let's go to the accountability check-in. Yeah. Why do females have this strong desire to have to sleep with 1,000 guys in a day? I don't see headlines of guys going, yeah, I'm going to go bang 1,000 broads in a day. Imagine that headline. Imagine that one. Imagine how we would all take that headline. Yes. Young American man beds 3,000 women in one day. Yeah, that's going to go over quite well. I can just see the headlines. But yet, let's go fuck 1,000 guys over there. Let's go screw 600 guys. Let's go 2,000 guys over there one day. Yeah. Like, what the hell's going on in society? What the hell is going on in society? Good time, what's going on in society? I know what's going on. It's the accountability check-in. Jimmy, we've got Justin Blackman coming up in a minute. This is the one thing you need to be unstoppable. Yeah. Make people feel seen. That's what it is. It's as simple as that. Roofie, just make people feel seen. That's it. Don't impress them. Don't intimidate them. Don't sleep with them. Just make them feel seen. Because people don't feel someone who ignores them. They don't trust someone who talks over them. And they sure as hell don't buy from someone who makes them feel fucking invisible. That's a true story. But when someone feels heard, they lean in. They open up. They move faster. Here's how I lead now. I listen like it motherfucking matters. Not to fix, not to one-up, just to hear you, just to listen to you, just to lean into what you're saying. In between the lines, and then in between those other lines. I assume good intent. How can you not? Even when I'm frustrated, I'm always curious. I show up with specifics. Not this, I let them know how I can help stuff. No, I'm intentional all the fucking time. You want an intro to someone who's been through this? I got a resource. You want me to send it? You got 15 minutes Friday? You want to talk about it? Because kindness isn't soft. It's how deals close faster. It's how teams stay low. It's how clients come back and how referrals happen without asking. Because when people feel seen and valued, they trust you. They bet on you. And hey, guys, I'll add this. When people feel seen and valued, and when people feel and see you daily, constantly, over and over and over, as the shepherd and not the sheep, they trust you. Just like they trust us, myself, John and Marty, every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends. And our good buddy, Matthew Roof, who's joined the team. What's up, good time? Thanks for the money, brother. Yes, $2. Boom, boom, boom. Eddie Orange, I am the clown. Yeah, I'm the clown named Keith Billis. I'm the host of Mornings in the Lab. What's going on? Go show favorite drug. Bring it on, bring it on. Join us in the comments. Join us in the conversation. We got somebody coming up here right now. The guy who can clone your brand voice so you can finally take a nap. And he's not an AI. No, he's not. Guys, what if I told you today's guest could make your writer sound exactly like you, even if you speak fluent sarcasm and existential dread? Gentlemen, meet Justin Blackman, the brand ventriloquist, who's made burnout optional and pillow fights strategic. He's a voice cloning expert, chapstick finisher, and the brains behind brand ventriloquist. He's worked with names like Amy Portersfield and Ali Abdal to help them scale their brand voice without losing their personality or their patience. We're going to chat about the hidden rules of tone, why feelings are gross, and how to make your brand less you without becoming bland. And he's going to hang out with 3 guys that have their own brands themselves. Nation, let's take a quick second to introduce our friend this morning, Justin Blackman. What's going on, Justin?
What's up, man? It's good to be here.
Good to be
here. What's up, Justin?
Yeah, what's going on? Written and directed by John Hughes. I see the generation you're from right off the bat, baby. Nicely done with the T-shirt. There's no better way to articulate what era you were born in if you're wearing a John Hughes T-shirt, Justin Blackman.
Yeah, man, it's all part of the brand. Like sometimes, look, right there, you know who I am before I even say a word.
That's so true. That's actually so true. Yes, yeah. That's true.
You know, brother, I got to just come out right of the gate and say, you got a fucking killer smile. Keep that shit.
Right? I saw it in the green room too.
That's that right there is part of your brand, brother.
Yeah.
If that's how you are all the time. That's people are going to resonate with that. That is a fucking like a, and I mean this in a positive. That's a shit-eating grin that's natural. You know what I mean?
Yes. And it's not lost time. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Lady Drew, $2. Lady Drew, thank you, girl. Thanks for the $2. Good time. Hey, guys, if you got to throw a donation on the table to keep the show alive, I appreciate it. There's super chats, there's super stickers, a bunch of crazy things over there. But hey, Marty, Johnny, Matthew Roof has thrown up a big question in the comments, and I think might want to be the most important questions on the show that we've asked in a long time. Justin Blackman, there's a picture of Grover over your right shoulder.
Yeah, there is.
It's really important that you articulate to us the reason and the meaning of that picture of Grover.
What is it?
It's Grover. It's fucking Grover. It's Grover.
It's Super Grover.
Yeah.
What is Grover?
Stormtroopers.
It's fucking Sesame Street, brother.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. I got to go deeper back in the memory banks. I got you. Okay.
So Justin, tell us about Grover. What's up with Grover over the shoulder, brother?
Well, like literally the fact that we're talking about it is the reason why it's up there. That actually used to be up in my daughter's room. So all the art back behind me is all from one artist, the guy named James Hance out of Jacksonville, Florida. I absolutely love his stuff. I bought that picture and I hung it up in my daughter's room when she was small. And then one day it fell off the wall and it scared the heck out of her. So she's like, I don't want it in my room anymore. So I took it. I didn't know what to do with it. And I literally just put it on the table behind me. And I got on a call with a client and literally the same thing happened. Like before they said a word, before they like even addressed me, they went, is that Super Grover? And the whole conversation changed.
There's a Super Grover?
Super Grover, yeah. And they went from like being this like high profile executive.
You and me both. Justin, so you are a brand ventriloquist. And, like I tell all the guests here, guests are not randomly chosen. You're chosen on purpose because you're saying something cool. You're making great content. Something about you is standing out. And frankly, what stands out about you is you have a piece of duct tape over your profile picture, over your lips. And you're like, yeah, I'm just a taped up dude. But you are a brand ventriloquist. And in a world of AI that's replicating brands, I got to ask this one. How exactly do you measure someone's brand voice? Looking at John, looking at Marty, looking at myself, how are you measuring our brand voice, Justin?
Well, see, actually, this is what's different because being in the green room as you guys were talking, like I can look at you and there are certain features and elements that I can pick out. Like, I mean, look at John's arms. There's a man who's committed to fitness and success. That's dedication. That's commitment. Those are things that I see. Keith looking at you with the glasses and all that. And, Marty with the shirt being able to say something. And with me, like you guys were able to identify elements of my personality before I even spoke. But when it comes to voice, I wish that there were a sexier answer, but it comes down to math. Like I literally count the amount of words that you use per sentence and figure out your cadence. I figure out the level of vocabulary that you're using, the words that you're using. Are you saying big or large or grandiose or humongous? Each of those words gets bigger and bigger. So there's a level of your vocabulary, and then there's the emotions that that we inflect into our writing. And Keith, right before this, you kind of took that little break and addressed the audience about kindness and empathy and listening. That was actually very different than the way that you were just showing up 2 minutes before that, talking about the AI dead guy. Like there's different levels.
Yeah, he shifts gears a whole lot in the show, brother.
Yeah. But that's cool. But you can actually figure out where and when he shifts gears.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah. So it would be easy for a writer to come in and watch you for one clip and be like, oh yeah, no, I get this guy. I see who he is. But then you keep watching and be like, oh, actually, you know what? He's different here. So being able to actually calculate and figure out what voice you use when, that's when we get really specific and we can actually measure and compare the voices and calculate the differences to figure out how you show up, what your voice sounds like, and how you adjust.
Dude, this is interesting because you got Keith, John, and Marty here who are all in own independent brands, growing our, obviously growing the show together, but growing things independently as well. I'm listening to you speak with such intention around the way that I'm going to speak about the three of us, the way that we speak or present ourselves. there's truth in that, isn't there, Justin, from your perspective, right? Because I'm hearing you say cadence, count words we say, like in what you do, if you're working with myself, John or Marty, or anybody, a business owner listening to us right now, like that is as intentional as you get, isn't it? Like, truthfully.
Yeah. It's literally who you are when you're not trying to figure out who you are. Like, listening to you talk naturally, that's when I can figure it out. You're going to write differently than you speak. We all do. It's ingrained in us from the like first day we go to school. This is how you're supposed to write.
So then what's one thing, this is great. What's one thing then that people consistently get wrong when trying to sound like themselves?
So there's a classic adage of write like you speak. And there is some, like, there's good guidance in there. There's good intention in there. But you can see when I'm talking, I am like, I don't know when to stop sometimes. Like, you've had to cut me off a couple of times. So you can speak, and that's great because I'll keep on going. When I write, I'm short, I'm deliberate, I'm choppy. I don't write like I speak. I use the same level of vocabulary and I use the same analogies and, just I try to be fun. Yeah. But when I write, you're getting my shitty first draft. When I speak, you're getting my shitty first draft. When I write, you're getting a polished version. So it's my writing, but tight.
Oh, that's fascinating. That's quite interesting to me. Yeah. One of the things you talk about, so we're big fans of feelings on this show, Justin. Like we talk about feelings, we talk about the emotion around feelings, but yet you're one who says that, and I know there's an interpretation in this, but you say that feelings are gross.
They are.
So should when you say that, I'm curious to know the intention behind that, and should we be worried or frankly should we be deeply inspired by the?
I think that's just like Grover. Yeah, it's just like Grover has a purpose.
Exactly,
it's a great conversation starter.
Yes, yeah.
So like the feelings are gross. It actually came out of a pun and a joke. It was just something that like. After I went through a divorce and like started doing therapy and all this stuff, getting in touch with your feelings, I'm like, oh, I don't like this. It's important, but I was just like, oh, this is gross. Why am I crying? I don't like it. But I did get in touch with my feelings and it was awesome. But like one of the things I just kept saying to people, like, how's everything going? I'm like, feelings are gross. Like I found them. But then as I was figuring out brand voice, I was actually listening to someone talk about like business strategy and finances and accounting. And figuring out, oh yeah, feelings are gross, meaning they're everything that you've accumulated. They're your gross earnings. They're everything that you've acquired from birth, from like the pat on your head from a parent or the smile from a teacher or like the bus driver yelling at you. They're all part of you. They're your feelings. That's your gross accumulation. But your brand is net. So you actually take deductions, you take things out. The bus driver yelling at you when you were 9, that actually doesn't mean anything to your brand. It might actually be somewhere in the background to how you like feel about authority, but it doesn't have to show up in your brand. So you take deductions from your personal self to make your brand a tighter, select version of you without all the stuff, less feelings.
Yeah. You're hanging out with Justin Blackman, myself, Keith Billis, John Anderson, and C. Marty Fit. Justin, I know we had you for 12 minutes here today. Can you stick around for a few more minutes with us?
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's do it. So, Marty, let's do the fit tip with you, brother. Johnny, take a quick break. We'll come back with Justin. And before we got AJ Zeglen coming with the minefield here. Let's do it, Marty.
Let's do it, man. Get off the screen, Keith. All right. We got the fitness tip for today. So, really quickly, understand you're not the only one, right? So a lot of people think that their situation is unique and it holds them back from their fitness goals. Well, I got kids. There's a lot of parents at the gym. Well, I work long hours. There's a lot of guys in the gym work 40, 50, some even 60 hours are still at the gym, right? Well, I'm tired, I'm depressed. And listen, all that stuff is absolutely a factor, right? Should you take care of your mental health? Absolutely. Should you get some rest? Absolutely. But how long are you going to use these as a crutch to neglect your fitness goals, right? Are you still going to keep skipping the gym because of this? understand that people are getting it done. People just like you are hitting their fitness goals, and you're not alone. That's why we have a community. That's why we preach fitness here, right? To remind you of that. So don't let these little things hold you back. Is it difficult? Absolutely. We never got on here and said it's easy, but you can still push through. You can still get to the gym, eat your food, right? Get your nutrition in, get your workouts in, and cut the excuses, even if they're legit. Longevity is the key. That's the focus. So get in there. Don't let those small things hold you back. That's the fitness tip for today.
Oh, the fitness tip of the day was see Marty Fit, who I believe is making his way off to the gym this morning. Marty, you out of here, brother?
Yeah, I'm about to get out of here, man.
You're going to get out of here? All right.
Hey, real quick before I go, Justin knows you better than me and Johnny.
That's right. Yeah, apparently so. He spent all of 4 seconds.
Man, it's crazy.
So we might have to get him back here
Yeah, we got to get him back here, man. I want to know what he thinks about me and Johnny too, a little more in depth. So we got to bring Justin back.
You know what we need to do? We need to have Justin Blackman spend some time watching our show, and then we'll bring him back for a segment to analyze.
Yeah. Real quick, before we go, Mark, Justin, let's do a quick summary of each one of us, like Mark's asking for. Do them first. So if he's got to go, he can go.
Yeah. Justin, read Marty for us.
All right. So what Marty just did is so different than what he was doing when he was talking to you guys in a group. When he was talking to you guys in the group, he was kind of just chiming in with a few witty comments here and there, and he was just sort of being accessible. When he was just speaking directly to the group, he was speaking more authoritative, but compassionately. It wasn't a sympathy. It's not like, oh, I understand you're going through everything. It wasn't empathy. It wasn't like, I feel this. I do this too. It was compassion. It's, I want to help you. Here's what you need to do. We need to stop making excuses. I want to get your results. This is the plan. This is it. So he owned his authority more when he was talking about fitness and routine and regimen than he was when he was being more accessible when he was speaking in the group.
Gotcha. Now you've only heard me speak to the group, so what do you got for that one?
So you seem to be more of kind of a solid presence that's there. You're coming in with commentary. You have opinions. It doesn't seem like you hold back. You're
got
kind
that
of a man. It feels like we're a little more guarded around you, where you've got boundaries. Like, I know my role. I'm here to do this thing. I'm gonna make strong opinions. I'm gonna look strong. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be a rock. I'm gonna be a solid presence. And I mean, I haven't heard you speak a lot about other stuff, but we're not getting into like emotions with you. It's more like facts and details and like, what is this? And you're questioning things, like with the AI. Where's this going? Like, you want.
Yeah.
There's a hesitation with society there, and you're kind of questioning the establishment a little bit.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
That's pretty good shit, brother. And I would say, man, what do you guys think? When I do speak to, like, I do my segment,
yeah,
I'll still carry a big chunk of that in, but I'll, at the same time, it's really trying to touch a nerve to get someone to take a step.
Yes. Yeah. And Justin, you haven't heard Johnny speak enough from emotion, because Johnny definitely is a pussycat, who speaks with much.
I'm a woman trapped in a man's body.
Yeah. So he's, he certainly comes across as an imposing figure, but he's quite soft, actually. Marty?
I want to add one thing though, Johnny. When you do the lifestyle tips and you open up with the one opener, with the one line opener in the beginning, I love that.
Which one? Which one line opener?
Like you'll be like, I was a fat son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because when I try to make myself relatable, it pulls people in.
I love it.
You're legendary. Like your hooks are legendary, brother.
This guy's advice doesn't work. Look at him. No, you don't know where I started. I was pathetic. Probably more pathetic than you.
Yeah. Marty, his hooks are legendary, man. Like, he can.
I love it, man.
Yeah, your first 12 words, like, Justin, I invite you. You listen to some of Johnny's content, like, it's just like, boom. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what you're getting.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely know what you're getting. So, Justin, you have a philosophy that consistently dismantles.
I gotta go, guys. I see you, Justin. Nice to meet you. Sorry, Keith.
You too, Marty.
Yep.
All right, Marty. Take care, brother. Have a good one, pal.
No problem. Yep.
Justin, you have a philosophy that's, this unconscious theme that consistently dismantles the myth, and we talk about this all the time. But you dismantle this myth of you must do it all for authentic branding.
Yeah. It's
Yet you have this mission that it's secretly one of freedom.
doing it all isn't necessarily the right thing. I'm a firm believer that you should, for your brand, for your business, do one thing or like one area consistently well. You don't have to do it all. You just have to know what you're really good at, because ultimately that's what people are
Brother,
buying.
that is so on the money right there. You know, it's like, I think people don't understand how you got to get so nichey.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, oh, you know, if I'm talking to this really niche, you know, avatar, there's not enough of them. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's figuring out like how to show up for that group of people who you can help most is going to be better than just trying to help everybody, because that's really,
nobody wants to hire a jack of all trades.
It's jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes.
But to continue that, but often better than the master of one, I think is. So sometimes you want a handyman. Like if you got a, broken light fixture and a running toilet and busted fence, sometimes you want a handyman who can do all those things.
Justin, we live in a world where AI is replicating brand voices more than ever, yet you come at this from a very human perspective. Talk about the competing interests of that. You have AI essentially replicating human brands daily now, yet you're out there as a human saying the same thing. How are you different? How are you approaching me different when you're like, yeah, Keith, I can build a brand voice for you? I'm like, no, Justin, I got it handled myself with this. You're like, no, it's actually not true.
So what AI is doing now, and it's catching up. And again, I can only speak to what is happening today and possibly tomorrow. A year from now, it's going to be different. But right now, AI, like how I talked about before, the vocabulary, tone, cadence, the elements of your voice, AI is able to replicate that fairly decently now. You give it a couple of examples of your content, as you're writing, you could be like, okay, I see the patterns, here's that. What it can't do, at least not yet, is understand your viewpoints and your stance. So when I talk about brand voice, yes, it is the writing, it's the measurements, but it's also your perspective. And AI it doesn't know that yet because it doesn't have your life experiences. It's something that you can begin to feed it. And we just saw with that soldier who had passed away that showed up in court. Yeah, maybe that's something that the family could have programmed in. Like, yeah, we know this guy, he's been with us. I remember when he was born, he would have forgiven him. He would have wanted this. But if you get that a little bit wrong, like maybe that's not true. Like if you just said, make me an AI bot that would address my killer, it might get ranty. It might get angry. It could get manipulative. And that's where AI it doesn't have your experience. And a writer can pull that out of you and press you deeper, whereas a computer can't.
Yeah. Good morning, Ali King. I see you there in the comments. Thanks for joining Mornings in the Live with Keith and Friends and our guest, Justin Blackman, this morning. We go live every single day here, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Ali, let us know what we can do to help you. I see your comment. Please help me. What's going on with that? Justin, for the writers listening and the folks that are tuning in right now who are building their businesses like Keith and Johnny are, what's the one thing that they can do today to start improving brand voice skills?
So one of the things that really helps is like because the internet, we've all grown up with the internet, well, at least most of us have grown up with the internet, and we have a ton of content out there. It's overwhelming to look at everything and try to figure out like who we are from that.
Yes.
So what I would say is actually take your 4 favorite pieces. It doesn't even have to be something that you published. It could be in a desk drawer somewhere or in a Google Drive. Take the 4 pieces that are like, yeah, this is who I am, and try to identify what the patterns are and narrow down to figure out like, oh, here's what I'm doing here. This is me that I'm not seeing anywhere else that other people can't replicate. This is actually who I am, and lean into that a little bit and kind of whittle it down until you have a clear persona.
Yeah. Johnny, questions, comments, curiosity?
Yeah, no, I think, anytime you break down someone's thought process or someone's behavior or the way they speak, I think it's exceptional. It's like we're looking behind the curtain. And for me, I feel like most people don't realize that the majority of success is what's happening behind the curtain.
Yes.
And that's a big part of what I do. It's all frame of mind. You know, the framing of someone's mind changes everything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak about here in a second in my lifestyle tips. So
Awesome.
then you can break down what I do there too.
Yeah. Justin, if you had to describe your own brand voice in 3 words, you know, for who you know, somebody who's an expert at this, you wake up and you live with these 3 words every day, what would they be, Justin?
You know what? I don't want to answer that because they can change depending on the day and what I'm talking about. And I also don't believe that 3 words is enough to encapsulate who I am.
So hold on, though. This is interesting to me because this is fascinating to me, because I think most humans, most marketers would think, well, hold on, Justin, what do you mean? Like if I'm Nike, as an example, my 3 words are the same on Monday as they are on Wednesday, as they are on Friday, as they are on Saturday, because I stand for something. But yet you're saying not necessarily that's true.
Well, look at the way that Nike showed up when the Colin Kaepernick and the Black Lives Matters. They took a social stance.
Yes,
as compared to the way that they talk about shoes. It's all about dedication, it's motivation, it's commitment. But when you see the way that they like describe their shoes, it's not about what the shoes help you do. Like their product descriptions are technical. It's their commercials invoke a feeling of success, but so that is kind of their brand voice, but it does switch when they go to product descriptions. And the way that they talk about, you know, classic Air Jordans versus, you know, something that's coming out on the market today or an athlete situation is different. So while they do have, like, we contain multitudes. So yes, Nike is about commitment. It's about dedication. It's about inspiration. But to a different audience, their vocabulary switches.
Of course it does. Yeah, that's and now as you were saying that, I'm thinking about the Kaepernick situation. I'm thinking when Tiger sunk that putt years ago when Nike went all in. And you're right, like their voice does change, but it also doesn't, right? And I guess that's kind of what you're saying too, is that if I asked you a question, this is fascinating. So if I asked you a question today, you had a tough night, maybe you had some personal situations. Your response is different today than it was on Friday. Like, so for example, yesterday, Johnny had a tough day the night before, didn't sleep very much, was pretty active, pretty busy. Energy was different. John's brand voice yesterday was very different than it is today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to keep it.
Yeah. 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 But the foundation is there, Justin. But the foundation's there, but it just presented differently, Justin.
Yeah. Like, and then we can make a choice. If you had a tough night and you didn't sleep well, do we talk about why you didn't sleep well, or do we just be like, you know what, I'm just going to be a little quiet today? Like,
no, I lay the shit out. Yeah. I lay the shit out because it's the way I see it is if and transparency and this is who I am is part of how it works.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
yeah. I mean, because I'm pretty, listen, I say all the time, it doesn't have to be your best day. It's just got to be another day you show up. Well, if I can't show up, how the hell can I preach that?
That's right. It's exactly. Yeah.
I get that, man. I get that.
Justin, some rapid fire with you, brother. Most embarrassing song you love?
Oh God! Oh, this is gonna
hold
hurt.
on. Keep him till after the lifestyle tip, so he can break me down. Everybody got
100%.
broke down, but me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Most embarrassing song you love, Justin?
There's a UK singer called Mika, and he has a song called "Big Girls, You Are Beautiful."
I know,
and it is the catchiest, poppiest, most bubblegum, saccharine piece of shit song in the world, and I love it.
I can't believe I know who Mika is.
I love the fact that you own that, though.
That's
beautiful, brother. We all have some of those. I was listening to one this morning. It's like I don't want to I love to listen to it, but if someone catches me, I find myself going, oh.
Yep. Yeah. If you're in the car, you put the windows up when that song
comes. Justin, coffee shop chatter or silence when you work?
Silence.
Oh yeah, there you go. Favorite piece of writing advice you completely ignore?
Don't start a sentence with and, but, or because.
Yeah, yes. I do it all the time now because that's how we speak. I start sentences left and right in my social media content. Always ands, but, and because that's just the way to go about it. Ever get a voice so wrong you had to start over?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
If your writing style had a theme song, what would it be?
It would probably be, the opening theme to Game of Thrones.
Oh, there you go. I like you, man. I love. You're a pop culture guy, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, look at my background, man.
I know. I love it, man. I love it. I got a closing question for you, but before I ask it, can you stick around for a couple minutes for John's lifestyle tip, and I'll bring you back and we'll wrap up with you.
Man.
Let's do it. All right. So, Jimmy, let's do lifestyle tip. We'll come back with a closer with Justin Blackman. I'm loving Justin, man. He could be our pop culture expert here on the show. Johnny, let's get after it, brother.
All right.
There we go.
I don't need music. Just put me on a stage, babe. Doesn't matter what you play. I'm going to kill it anyway. All right. Check this out. If you find yourself saying, or you think you're too busy to start taking better care of yourself, that is a mindset that's going to keep you stuck or keep you average probably for the rest of your life. You need to understand that the average man is always too busy to take that next step. That successful man, that elite man, he finds the time to do what he needs to do to take those steps forward so he continues to get better. That's why he's successful. That's why he's elite. And it's all a frame of mind. So you really got to think about, what is it that you're telling yourself? What is it that you're thinking when it comes time to take that step to get outside your comfort zone so you can get better? Because if you want to take better care of the ones you love, you need to get better. You need to level up. When you level up, so will your life. And guess what? When that happens, you're taking better care of the ones you love. So really, really think about this. What frame of mind are you living in? What are you telling yourself? Because if you find yourself saying, I'm just too busy, you're probably going to be saying that for the rest of your life. Rock and roll.
Let's get after it. John Anderson's lifestyle tip every day, 8:45 Eastern time, right here on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. We got our buddy Justin Blackman joining us all the way from. Justin, where are you coming from today, brother?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, you're in Atlanta. There you go, the former home of the Winnipeg Jets.
Yep.
There you go. That's right. So, Justin, you heard Johnny drop his lifestyle tip. Would love to hear your brand voice opinion on Mr. Anderson's demonstration of his wonderful prowess.
So there was a couple of things that were there right before that started. Johnny, you kind of straightened your hat and you got up a little bit more, like, all right, like, here I go. So there was this like moment where you changed, and there was, so you're showing up as an expert, and you started out with some bold statements that were general. You were talking about the average man, and you were talking about sort of universal truths. But then what happened when you went from a we or a they, and then you switched to a you when you started going into, here's what you need to do. If you want to be like that, here's what you need to do. So you agitated to make people feel seen and to feel part of a group, but not singled out. When you gave them instructions, you got specific. Here's what you should do. But then you also added in what was interesting. Strong writing uses definitive language, absolutes, like always, every, never. You added in little words like probably. You didn't say you'll be stuck for the rest of your life. You said you'll probably be stuck. So you added in this little bit of softness to say, like, it's not hopeless. It's just something that we need to watch out for because there are some serious repercussions.
Yeah, because I think, it's funny because as soon as it's the first time I did that and knew I was going to be analyzed, so I actually found myself like, come on, dude, you got to be natural here,
Right. If you had been firm, it would have been mean. Like, it could have been harsh. Well,
because I think, Keith, you tell me, sometimes I come out of the gate a little stronger. I punch people a little bit harder starting.
Yes.
I think this time, I was probably a little softer. I don't know why.
I know why, Johnny, because you were being observed.
Yeah, totally. And I should say, I knew I was being observed, but I'm not sure why I went that way versus deeper into punching.
Yes.
I could have, because obviously, you're being watched. It's pretty easy to be identical than as it's easy to sway one way or the next because you're being graded. But but I think when it comes down to it, I feel like in these type of settings, if I'm telling people too specifically, they don't think it applies to them. So I've got to open it up enough that they could be a part of that group. Well, God, that does sound like me. But you say, you're doing this, you're doing that. Well, he doesn't know me.
You know what I find fascinating about this too, and Justin, I'm looking at you with this comment, is that you see John as a strong, imposing figure on screen, right? The way he speaks, the way he presents himself. Yet I've hung out with the guy long enough to get to know him. Extremely coachable human being. Like wants to lean into what you're saying or what I'm saying. And I bring that up because it's that old idea of judging a book by its cover, right? Because you'd see somebody like John and you go, oh, the guy doesn't need to be coached because he probably is the alpha. He is the coach. Yet, he's like, no, Justin, coach me. And he's talking and I watched his mannerisms change a little bit because he knew that you were about to coach him. That's a fascinating exercise for me, Justin, because like there was an observation happening there. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, no, I totally do. And if I want to get a true idea of who he is, I need to watch some of the older stuff that he's done.
Of course, yeah.
And then we can show it. And usually, what people say, like when I analyze it, they're like, "Is that good or bad?" I said, "It just is. It's not good or bad. If you want to adjust it,
totally,
I can show you. Like here's how we would do it, but that's entirely up to you. My job isn't to tell you how to sound; it's to tell you how you do sound."
So this is awesome. Let's stay here then. So then you in this industry working with brand voice and writers and creators and culture accelerators, if I could use that word, you're spending a lot of time observing. And we hear often from people, be your unapologetic self, be authentic, be human. I have to think that you watch a lot of people actually pretending and not being real.
Oh, yeah.
and I'm going to make one more observation too. You come on the show and I'm thinking from the outside, some of your first impressions are you're watching the three of us be very real. Would that be a fair statement of mine?
Yes, but also
play it out. Keep going. An amplified version, the entertaining side. Is that what you're going to say too?
You're playing a character right now.
100%.
When that camera comes off, those sunglasses, I'm going to assume, aren't worn all the time. You're probably not wearing that hat, the way you're dressed, all that stuff. Your background is very deliberate. Look, my whole house isn't blue. I do have pictures of Muppets everywhere, but it's
Do you have a Muppet on your ass, Justin? Yes, I do. On my left cheek, there's a Muppet on my ass.
On my ass.
I love it.
But it's better than the other way around. A puppeteer gets their hands in a Muppet's ass. So look, it's better to play Cookie Monster than to be Cookie Monster.
Yeah, I would have recognized the Cookie Monster. That was my jam.
I guess.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Justin, if your voice guide had a do not disturb setting, what's the one habit or tone you'd tell your future writers to never mess with?
So I literally have a thing here where it's got a post-it note. It says unusually insightful. And that's the key to what I go for. It's not that I'm going like, look at me, how smart I am. But my goal is to provide an unusual insight.
Yeah.
I wanted you to look at something different that's not the common way. I don't want you to be human because there are 8.5 billion humans on the planet.
Yes.
I want you to choose one.
Yes.
I want you to be that. I want you to get specific. And I want you to have something that you're doing naturally that you don't realize is unique to you, because to you, it's your everyday. So for me, the thing is unusual insight. It means that it's my drive to look deeper, to find out what's really happening and keep going until I actually figure out what the thing is, and then bring that up to the surface.
Awesome.
Hey, Keith, real quick, I forgot. I was having so much fun on the show today. I didn't tell you. So I have sometime after 6 a.m. my time, my Facebook rep is going to be calling. So in that 6 to 6:30 range, and I have to take this call.
You rock 100%, brother. That's all good. All good. Good. Keith, John, and Justin, we got AJ joining us here in a quick second. We're going to wrap up with Justin Blackman joining us all the way from Atlanta, the brand Ventriloquist. Justin, this has been awesome. And I got to tell you, man, this is not where I thought it was going to go, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it. You've dropped nothing but value and nuggets along the way. I'm really curious about you. I'll be honest with you. I'm really curious about you, what you do for a living, all the work that you do. I'm a culture guy too myself. So I'm really into this, man. How can folks find you? How can folks connect with you? And I'm looking forward to grabbing coffee with you later today. Me and Matthew Roof, you're going to meet Maddie later today as well. But how can folks find you, Justin, and connect with you, brother, and work with you?
Yeah, pretty easy. I'm at justinblackman.com. And that would be the place to go. I got a couple different services. A lot of my stuff is geared towards copywriters, but I do help entrepreneurs and brands. I work with corporate brands, but my sweet spot is personal brands. But really, I can work with anyone to help you define how you sound, so you get better writing either from your writers or from AI.
I love it. I love it. Justin, I hope you had as much fun with us as we had with you. You're awesome, man.
It was a blast, man. I had a great time.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna get Justin out of here, Jimmy, and we're gonna bring in AJ here in a quick second. Jay, I see you there, man. I've been doing IF for 6 years. We're gonna talk IF in a few moments after the top of the hour here when AJ's joining us here. We got Rufy in the comments as well. We got Lady Drew. We got everybody joining us here today. I see you, whole right. I didn't call you out this morning. Thanks for hanging out with us, Adam. AJ, what's shaking, brother?
Not much. How you guys doing?
I'm good. We're good. We had an awesome conversation with Justin Blackman. The guy's like a brand expert. He just was kind of ripping. He was just analyzing, observing, and offering nothing but value to us along the way, which was pretty cool. How's your morning been so far?
Oh man, it's been good. Yeah, it's been really good. I just kind of caught I usually like to see if I could log in early and catch a few more minutes of the guests before me. And I unfortunately had to restart my laptop there, so I missed a bit, but it seemed interesting. I love this shirt, man.
I know.
Huge John Hughes. Like, growing up in the 80s, man, like Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, like those movies just were like.
Those were hot, baby.
Yeah, man, that was, I love those. I have such a strong nostalgic connection to those types of like movies, those coming of age, high school, university type of thing.
When he showed up, I knew for sure. Like, I'm like, okay, this guy's from our era because he shows up with the T-shirt, right? So, hey, Jimmy's making sure he's taking care of you. He's like, let's ask if John needs to pee. So if you got to step,
what I do, I got to get ready for this call is what I got to do.
Yeah. So why don't you sneak away for that and you jump back in if you have to, pal?
Yeah, no, forgive me. I'm saying that I got to take the call and I'm going to be on the call with him for a stretch. So I just got to kind of be sitting waiting because if I miss his call, I won't talk to him again for a week.
Understood.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got something here which I knew was perfect for our conversation today. And AJ,
so, Keith, you understand that means I got to go? Forgive me.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, good.
You walk around, you got to go by. Yeah, when you got to go, you just take off. 100%.
Yeah, perfect. I got to jump. So listen, AJ, sorry, but I'm bummed I can't talk with you today, but I know you'll be back soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I look forward to it.
You got it. I look forward. I'll see. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday, so I have tomorrow. Have a good look.
Yeah, see you, pal. Take care. All right, Johnny's out of here, guys. Let's keep it rolling. Mr. Zeglen, I have a topic here. Can you hang out with me for a few minutes, Zeglen?
Yep, totally.
Let's do it. The Keith and AJ show, just like the old days, brother. Just like the Business Athlete podcast from days ago. I found something which I think is appropriate for our conversation this morning, especially where you come from. Okay. So you come from a world of the gym. You come from a world of lifting weights. You come from a world of strength and resistance. Yet science is saying if you want a sharper mind at any age, you got to do this. And JJ, you ever wondered if your workout could make you smarter? Well, recent studies have revealed groundbreaking insights about which type of exercise supercharges your brain the most, especially as you age. Yeah. I got uncovering the number one workout for your mind. And I love this because we automatically think the number one workout for our mind is, I got to do a Wordle, or I got to do a crossword, or I got to put my mind into it. AJ, the number one thing for our mind, the latest research says this. Nation, get the drum roll ready, please. Resistance training.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I love it.
Show's over. We can all go home now. And Zeglen, it's just everything's done now. It's just the one answer. That's it, just done. Nobody got no more studies. We can save money. We just gotta fucking go lift weight. That's it. It's done. Over.
Right. Oh man, I love it.
So found to deliver the most substantial cognitive boost overall, improving executive function, working memory, and processing speed. So there's a few of them, but that's the number one, AJ, is resistance training will do the most for our brain than anything else we possibly can do. So motherfuckers, put your Wordle down, put your crossword down, and go to the gym. I'm out of here. See ya.
I love it, man. I love it. Obviously, you know how big of we both are such a huge supporter of the idea of getting in the gym and the resistance training and all the benefits that come with it. So, I'd be really interested to read the study. I'm not surprised by it. I do know that So, we always talk about when you're active, when you're exercising, working out, that our brain releases certain neurochemicals into our system. And one of those that I kind of throw in there all the time that we talk about is BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor.
Dude, it's in my notes here. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. And so if we were to think about that, everyone's talking about as we age, it's important that we keep that neuroplasticity, right, and that brain working. And so the brain-derived neurotropic factor, which we get a huge release of it when we're doing things like resistance training, it kind of works as it would be like the fertilizer for the mind.
Yes.
We had to, put it. So if you imagine your mind's like a garden, and it's like the fertilizer. So it helps in all these different parts of our brain and areas of the mind on how we are able to, regulate emotions and process information, and how we're able to think and problem solve, and how we're, all the different functions that our brain plays. It's the fertilizer that gets, basically distributed in there that helps all those things grow, that helps all those things develop, helps all those things stay sharp. So that's a huge one. I'm without even reading the study, I'm going to guess that maybe that's where, this study kind of points in that direction, or are they at least mention that?
I'm going to get there with you, because you're absolutely right. That's exactly it. Good morning, Scott Benza. Good to have you in the lab this morning, brother. Hope you had a good rest last night. And good morning, Fission. Blood looking like he's going to hop into a telephone booth and jump through dimensions. Fission, I am from the Matrix. True story. AJ, number 2 on what we can do to make a stronger mind. So we know that resistance training is number 1. The second one, AJ, is aerobic exercise, particularly effective for enhancing memory and increasing the hippocampal volume through increased brain blood flow. So, guys, we want to get our lift in. There's a lot of value in also getting that aerobic exercise, not for cardiovascular, but for brain work, AJ. There's some benefits in aerobic exercise as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that that's in there too, right? Because nowadays, and you'll see this all the time within the fitness industry, with anything, everyone always makes everything sound like it's an either or choice.
It's an absolute, right? Yes.
Yeah. So I'm either in the cardio club where I love to run or ride my bike or go to spin class, or I'm in the lifting club where I just want to lift heavy and I'll never do cardio a day in my life. Right.
Yes.
And obviously we don't want either of those extremes, right? We want to exist in that area in the middle, and there's huge benefits to resistance training. There's equally huge benefits to aerobic training and testing and developing our system aerobically. And the two systems are intertwined with each other, right? Our anaerobic and our aerobic system, there's so much overlap, like they just influence each other and help support each other so much that we always want to make sure that we're training or having both of those elements represented in our training, right? So both can be true at the same time. Just because resistance training is true does not mean that you don't have to do cardio or don't have to do aerobic exercise. Get on your bike, go for a run, go for a walk, get on your elliptical, your rower, your skier, go push a sled, whatever it is that you love to do to work on that aerobic training. And it's equally as important as the resistance, right?
Very much so. Matthew Rufy coming in with Shake and Rufy. AJ, you guys need to meet each other. AJ, I got an awesome dude working with me right now. His name is Matthew Rufy. He's all about uncommon kindness. Zeglen, the guy takes kindness, wraps it up, and just accelerates. He's from upstate New York. He's a Rangers fan, but he's also an adopted Jets fan now. So I'm welcoming him with lots of love. So he's actually he's kind of a cool dude actually. So it's actually
he's upstate New York. I have a few. So he's Rangers fan.
Yes,
I'm always fascinated by this in New York. So is he a Mets or Yankees fan?
Oh, we'll have to. Rufy, we're wondering the question, brother, and we might have to get Rufy on the show here. But Mets or I'm always curious about that too. Or like, why is he a Buffalo Sabres fan? Like, why is he a Rangers fan? Right.
Yeah, so upstate New York, right? Or are you are you a Bills fan, or are you a Jets fan, or a Giants fan?
That's it.
Like, there's so many teams in that small geographic area. I'm like, how are you influenced within the state of New York on like who your teams are.
You're going to love Roofy, man. He's solid, dude. He's a Yankees fan, so we won't hold it against him. What's up, Brophy? Brophy joining us from Calgary. AJ, Brophy's solid, dude. Jason Brophy's been joining us for a number of weeks now regularly. The guy sharts nonstop, dude. He drops comments. He's just a sharter all the time. But Brophy, I'm having fun with you, brother. Number 3 there, AJ. So we're talking right now about exercises. We're talking right now, guys, if you want a sharper mind at any age, put the fucking crossword down, put the Wordle down, go to the gym, lift up some heavy weights, and then do some aerobic exercises. But then AJ, the third one, I suck at big time. It's mind-body activities, which involves coordination. Practices like Tai Chi or dance or maybe yoga significantly enhance working memory. And here's where I suck. Multitasking abilities by combining physical movement with cognitive tasks. Brother, I could watch you on the fucking TV screen telling me to do a movement. Yeah. And I just can't do it. Like I'm all fucking discombobulated and twisted up. You're turning left. I'm going backwards. It's incredible to me how I am unable to follow. Like it's like a lack of coordination or something. But apparently, lifting weights, aerobic, mind-body activities are also great too because of the physical movement with cognitive tasks. And I can see how that's helpful because of the multitasking aspect, right, AJ?
For sure. And you know what? Like a huge one in that category where we might miss. Yeah. But I think is such a really cool, awesome life skill for everyone to have is, go learn how to play a musical instrument.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I know you play. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it, man. I try to get people involved in that all the time, like any musical instrument. Yes. And there's huge benefits to that, obviously. Right. But so if you're playing guitar or drums or piano or whatever your thing is, jumping on the saxophone or whatever, there's obviously this great kind of melding of a physical task in the coordination, right? But also thinking out, there's constant problem solving, there's constant planning, there's constant memory that goes into what you're playing, right? So that would be a great one. But the other stuff that you mentioned too, if you don't play a musical instrument, that's cool. You don't have to, but like yoga and other stuff that you mentioned would be equally as helpful, right?
I'm a master at the skin flute. Dude, left hand, right hand. I put Tiny fucking Tim to shame. Like the way I stroke those notes, man, I can stroke the notes left and right in whatever sound. Roofy, you playing keyboard? Fuck, man. Roofy, you don't know. Roofy, we're the same age, brother. I grew up playing skin flute. True story. When I went to school to learn the recorder, AJ, I'm like, well, no, but I like playing the skin flute. I'm like, oh, Keith, that's not appropriate in class. Well, I don't know. But anyways, so
the maestro of the skin flute. But you know what though? I honestly think that we could do a better job of I think it's super cool that music is put into the education system.
Yes.
But I think we could even do a better job of highlighting and integrating it into the education system. So there's the more that, well, because most of the time it's always like an afterthought, right? I remember taking music in elementary school and playing hot cross buns on my recorder and us being just like, this is the biggest waste of time. Music class will just goof off. No one wants to go to it. Yeah. Okay, as soon as we get to grade 6, we don't have to do it anymore. Awesome, right? But I feel like if it was presented or delivered in a very different way, right? And if there was an understanding and an emphasis on that delivery of how this actually helps in a bunch of different things and really sets us up to be have more positive outcomes in life, and maybe the instruments that they expose us to and stuff like that are a little more interesting than the recorder. You know what I mean? And maybe they actually help students. It's like, hey, everyone loves music, man. Every kid loves music. Every kid has a favorite artist. So why are we not trying to draw elements in that to really engage the kids in the music, right? And really kind of draw them into it, right? Because I think there's so much value in music, just from a mental health standpoint, from an educational standpoint. It's awesome.
I'm laughing at Good Times comments here because I swear everybody within our generation, and I think Roofy too. Roofy doesn't want to be in my band. No, we got Good Time laughing, and Lauren's like, "You did not." Yeah, I did. We got Good Time saying, and Good Time. I know this one too because I played it on the recorder. Yeah, I did play the recorder. 3 Blind Mice.
Totally.
There we go, Jimmy. There's the 3 blind mice. But guys, interestingly enough, resistance training, and as AJ said at the beginning of our conversation, stands out because it boosts the BDNF, the brain-derived neurotropic factor, which improves blood flow, reduces inflammation, and directly enhances cognitive functions. And Age, you've been around hanging out with us long enough. You know how Johnny talks about the words of feelings. Like, there's no question about it. After a good lift, you can feel it in your brain.
Oh, man. You can. I mean, we've had this discussion lots before where, like, you know, you could feel like your whole world's coming down on you, at least for myself. And I could get to the gym and I could get through a workout. And all of a sudden, as that workout's happening, I'm starting to be like, oh, okay, maybe that's not so bad. Or I can do this. I can get through this. And by the time I'm done, my complete outlook has done a 180. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to take this on. I'm ready to do it. You know,
this is interesting. Lady Drew, AJ's last name is Zeglen. You can find him over on LinkedIn, and I invite you to do so. Solid dude. And if you need to find him, Lady Drew, come connect with me, and you'll find AJ along the way. But AJ, this is actually interesting because I know you are an expert in both fields. You're an expert in strength and resistance, and you're an expert in the gym, but you're also an expert in a mental performance and a clinical practice. It would not seem to be. It wouldn't seem unreasonable that you would sit down with a client who's maybe struggling with some mental challenges where you might say to them, go to the gym, lift some weights. I'm oversimplifying it, but could that be something you would recommend to somebody?
Every single client that I have ever worked with on a foundational level, when we're starting with them, one of the first things I do is encourage them to be more active. Yeah. And I actually think that it's a skill. I went through all my schooling, obviously for counseling, for therapy, for psychotherapy, for mental performance. It's something that's not nearly talked about enough.
When we're
training people. I actually just had the privilege about a month, maybe just over a month ago or so. I was the speaker for the CCPA, the Canadian Counseling and Psychotherapy Association.
Yes.
And I actually presented as part of our AGM this year, and I presented specifically on that topic. And my point was that while not all therapists have to be personal trainers, they should all have a very good understanding of exactly how exercise positively affects the body and the mind. And they should be capable of promoting it, supporting it, encouraging it, and really trying to get clients to increase their level of activity and get to the gym or find something active that they like to do to work out. And yeah, my whole presentation was right on that topic that you're talking about.
Well, and that's why I thought today's topic was timely. And I know that we've talked with our mutual friend Brooke around the same, because she comes from a place of mental performance, and she's like, hey, I think I could be different by adding some of the strength resistance training, and this science is just proving that what you have been doing for the last 7 years, 10, 15 years of your life, especially the last 5 when you move into the mental performance arena, it's proving what you've known all along, which I love. Like when I found this, I was like, fuck man, this is right up Zeglen's alley, because this fits it perfectly. And good time, AJ is always taking new clients. You should connect. And good time, you connect with AJ over on LinkedIn or connect with me, and I'll connect you guys. But yes, he's always taking new clients. You guys should connect. And that's why I love where you come from, because you're talking about it holistically, not just up here. In order to activate this, you got to go activate this.
For sure. And you know what? I think I probably shared this with you somewhere along the way, but I think I remember years ago when I was in school, and I remember like I'm sitting there in school and we're like learning stuff. And I'm like, in a weird way, I'm like, I feel like I kind of already know this. Me and Keith talked about this in the gym 6 years ago, in between sets when we were working out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, we're having discussions on our points of view and our ideas and our stuff. Yes. And then I'm sitting now in like a formal educational setting, and they're letting me know how certain elements of the brain work and processes work and certain things. And all of a sudden, I'm having all of our kind of private discussions between buddies just all of a sudden validated, right? Where I'm like, this isn't just the way AJ and Keith feel about them. You know what I mean? Like, here's the science behind it. And now I was able to connect those dots and be like, hey, when me and you were talking about this, like, here's the neurochemical that was being released. Like when we're talking about the BDNF, okay, there's actually like, here's the name of the neurochemical that's being released. Now we know why we felt this way, you know?
Yes.
And so it was a really kind of interesting process to go through. And it really, I felt, gave me like an instant connection and understanding on how some of the stuff works, like some of the fundamental theories that we use in the gym to make progress, and to try to point us in a direction of positive outcomes. That same structure, that same kind of systems, they move right over there. There's these common threads that ran right into the mental world. And I was like, oh, that's actually the exact same thing, because of course, why wouldn't it be? They're so intertwined with each other. Like our physical and mental health are one and the same, right? They're the same thing.
It's probably not hard for you to see, and maybe you lead it one day, but it's probably not hard for you to see a future where both disciplines merge. Where
I would love that, man.
Where if you're going in to become a physical fitness strength coach, you know, within that discipline, a big part of the curriculum starts up here. To those who are listening, I'm pointing to my brain. But then if you're going into the mental performance arena, you know, where you have started the second half of your career, they're also in the curriculum talking about the importance of resistance training and aerobic activity and mind-body exercises. Because I suspect, AJ, up until now, they're very separate disciplines, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and they shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
What's fascinating too is you and I've talked about pro sports teams.
Yeah.
All names aside, on how sometimes you wonder why they can't connect the dots. Like why some aren't investing more into mental performance. Well, dude, it's the same thing. If you're hiring a strength coach, that strength coach is also your mental performance coach, and nobody's connected the dot yet. But the scientific study is now saying, well, no, there's actually dots connecting the two.
For sure. Yeah. And they should be one and the same. Like in my mind, and I would love to do this one day. Hopefully one day I can. In my mind, like my therapy clinic that I work out of, my Invictus, it has a gym in it. Because why wouldn't it?
Well, you know what I mean? Go. Yes.
Why wouldn't it? You're promoting this, so now you have people in like, all right, let's have a conversation. Let's go to the gym. Let's jump on the let's go for a walk together.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, right? There's a great thing, and it's everywhere now, but it's really popular in some areas of the U.S. Experiential therapy, and what they found is they've been much more effective at delivering therapy with people through activity, right? So they'll be like, hey, Keith, we're going to go for a walk and we're going to do this, or we're going to go for a run and we're going to do this. We're going to go and grab our golf clubs and play a round of golf and talk about things while we do this, or whatever it is, right? There's a whole bunch of different ways it could go. But for me, I'm like, why wouldn't we be in the gym and talking about these things while we're working, you know what I mean? And have these discussions, conversations, when you think about it,
actually, I'm playing off what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like in many ways, the ultimate like mental performance session with you would be during a resistance training session. Like literally, literally you're sitting. So good time, just kind of using examples. So good times, like, I need AJ as a client. Okay, good time. We're meeting in the gym for a 45-minute lift. And then during that 45-minute lift, it's the conversations in between sets. It's like those moments in between moments we talk about all the time. That is your therapy. That's powerful shit, man.
Yeah, like a mental health, physical health therapy center where everything's just integrated into one, right? So the problem that you would have sometimes right now is, let's say you were like, oh yeah, I'm a therapist, I'm going to go meet my client at a gym. Depending on the gym surrounding, you might have a client that's like, hey man, there's 100 other people in here that I've never met in my life. Yeah, I'm not comfortable talking about this out loud right now, right?
Of course.
So obviously the setting would have to make sense, right? But if you were able to kind of meld those two together, combine those two together, I think it would be the most powerful way to deliver therapy that there is, right? Is in conjunction with physical activity.
Absolutely. So that aside, guys, just some practical plans. Good time. Holroyd, all you guys listening right now, some practical plans, right? Plan on that resistance training. And this, we repeat this often, guys, but again, it's more about awareness. Get resistance training 2-3 times a week. Get that aerobic activity in. There's no reason you can't get at least 150 minutes a week. Like it's fucking 30 minutes a day, not even if you go over 7 days. Like, come on. And then mind-body exercises, right? Like doing multitasking exercises that take care of your whole body. So if you want that strong mind, go to the gym, period. End of story. AJ, good chat, man. I got a couple topics to get into. You're welcome to stick around. I'm going to talk some Stoicism. I'm going to talk some intermittent fasting before my next guest joins me at the bottom of the hour. You're welcome to stick around for these two, but I also understand you probably got to rock and roll as well.
I do got to run. I got some people coming in here at 9 o'clock, so
beautiful.
I got to get ready. I got to get ready for them. But I do actually enjoy both those topics. I'd be really curious to see what you guys have to say about them. But
awesome. Will you get after, pal? Enjoy your day. I always appreciate having you here, and always enjoy the conversations we had. And today was a good one. I knew it was going to be perfect for our chat because there's no magic in mental health. Go to the gym. Period. End of story.
It is the number one best tool that we have. Our body is literally designed for it. Literally designed to be able to increase our mental health and increase our positive outcomes. All we got to do is just take that action and start moving.
All we got to do is take the action and start moving. All right, we're going to get AJ out of here, brother. I love you, man. Enjoy your day. Get out.
Love you, man.
We'll talk to you later. All right, AJ's out of here. Jimmy. Let's keep it rolling, man. We got a couple topics before we have our next guest. Lilian Santini is joining us at the bottom of the hour. Jimmy, do you think she's joining us? All right, guys. I tried intermittent fasting. I did. I absolutely did. Jimmy's like, you want to bet? Yeah, we'll put a bet on the table. Guys, I tried intermittent fasting, and I want to talk about what happened. Jay, are you still there? What's shaking, Jay? I see you in the comments here, Jay. So, guys, a couple years back, as I was meeting AJ and going through my journey in life, counting macros and yo-yoing from fat guy to skinny fat guy to trying to lose some body weight, lose some body fat to lean up a little bit. It did it all. I went through the entire experience like many of us. Jimmy, can you not hear the music, brother? I think you can. Jimmy, can you hear that? There you go. All right. So what did I do? I tried intermittent fasting. Yeah, the old IF. That was been a couple years ago, and I was like, I got an intermittent fast. So I did. And here's what happened. It worked. And it still does today for me. Now, it working is a loaded statement, is a loaded finality to what I'm saying. Well, so what does it mean when I say it worked? So for me, what intermittent fasting did for me, guys, is it taught me discipline. Yeah, it taught me that how to make good decisions and good choices in the windows that worked best for me. Because when I was eating carbohydrates or crappy food earlier on in the day, I was chasing it throughout the day. And my body wasn't feeling good. And we talk often on the show about feelings. I was feeling crappy, eating crappy food throughout the day. So I said, hey, I'm going to put a stop to it. So I went on a window where, I eat between the hours of 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock until 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then go to bed and do it again the next day. Now I'm going to be frank and throw some admissions on the table. Some days to today, I still have troubles with making bad decisions in the kitchen after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Like last night, true story. Sat down, Jimmy, about to go to bed. I had a little craving. Yep, made bad choice. Went in the kitchen and just grabbed a smidgen of oats, smidgen of chocolate chips, and I mean smidgen because usually I don't do smidgens. Usually I just fucking go full bowl. But I took a smidgen of peanut butter, took a smidgen of chocolate chips, took a smidgen of oats, mixed it all up, and chowed down on it. Felt crappy about it today, right? It's those decisions. Did I do it again? Well, it wasn't so much doing it again as it was right. But what worked for me is that I used to do that stuff during the day, and I would just chase that all day. So now, if I'm going to have a treat, I work myself to the evenings where I have my food, and then I fast throughout the day. So in my world, I do not eat throughout the entire day. I get up in the morning, I train fasted, I work my day fasted. I chow down to that first meal, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and have a couple meals before I do it again the next day. And it's worked for me. It's absolutely worked for me. And it continues to work for me. And again, what I learned, and the whole point of this was really about learning about this idea of teaching discipline. And as a result, what came out of it was I was able to, lose some body fat and perhaps a little bit of weight around the way. So I would invite you guys, if you're looking to teach yourself discipline, it might be something to consider, which is intermittent fasting, right? And I would encourage you to think about it more from the discipline side of things, less so about losing body weight, less so about losing body fat, more about a mental discipline exercise. Sometimes we need to take a few steps back, take a few steps forward. And for me, intermittent fasting was the way to go about that. All right, guys, coming up in a couple minutes, we got Lilian Santini joining us here in the lab for the community corner. But before we do that, Jimmy, I want to get to this one because I have not had much time, or we seem to be overplaying it. But I want to talk for a few moments about Stoicism, right? And imagine unlocking a mindset. Imagine unlocking a mindset so powerful. It's been passed on for over 2,000 years. Yet it might be the missing key to modern success. Jimmy, I want to dive into Stoicism, the ancient philosophy reshaping how today's top performers, entrepreneurs, athletes, business leaders face challenges, find clarity, and take control of what truly matters. Well, guys, mastering Stoic principles isn't about sounding all philosophical, sound like John Anderson, or about making you sound all crazy and shit. It's actually about building a framework, a system to thrive in chaos. And we talk about all the time, non-negotiables. It's about leading with integrity. It's about responding, not reacting. Yeah, you heard me. Respond, not react. In those moments that will define your legacy. So guys, we're all growing up, we're living, we're creating a legacy. Well, these principles are going to help you build that framework in a positive way. And Jimmy, Stoicism dates back to 3rd century BCE and centers on mastering emotion, focusing on what you control and aligning your actions with virtue. Again, guys, the idea of reacting instead of responding, right? We want to respond, not react. We absolutely want to respond, because it's a moment. Respond, don't react. Respond, don't react. You think about it, modern adopters include leaders like Tim Ferriss, NFL coaches, Fortune 500 CEOs, even Navy SEALs. And Jimmy, it's, we talk about it on the show all the time with myself, Johnny, and Marty. It's, being stoic is not about being emotionless. It's not this. I'm a stoic robot. I don't have emotions. I am just vanilla. I am homogenous. No! It's about choosing your response, especially when you're under pressure. Because when you're under pressure, we typically will react. Boom, boom, boom. No, slow it down. It's okay to have the emotion. In an age of distraction, Stoicism teaches intentional living. Oh, there's that scary word, Jimmy. People are all fucking scared of intention. Oh my God, it's intentional. No. Stoicism teaches intentional living over reactionary behavior. So I invite you as you go through your day today, gentlemen, are you going to react or are you going to respond? Be stoic. Exercises like daily journaling, we talk about it on the show daily, habit stacking, negative visualization, and embracing discomfort train the mind like the body, leading to stronger decisions, deeper gratitude, and higher resilience. Leaders like Marcus Aurelius didn't just survive chaos, they ruled through it. And that blueprint, Jimmy, it still holds power today. So guys, I'm going to ask yourself this question as we wrap up our segment on Stoicism. Guys, what is in your control today? That's it. Don't worry about the fucking weather. Don't worry about, anything out of don't worry about that person's problems over there. Worry about what's in your control today. Focus only on that. Maybe you want to reflect during some evening journaling. Keith, I don't journal. It's just crazy. Well, really? Maybe you want to reflect on what did I react to emotionally today? And what could I do to control better tomorrow? Because guys, if we want to improve, we have to reflect. Think about that. If we want to improve, we have to reflect. If we're not reflecting, we're not improving. We're just making the same fucking dumb mistakes every single day. Pause, reflect, improve. So guys, ask yourself, what is in your control today? There you go. Stoicism, guys, isn't about being cold. It's about being composed. It's about owning your life without apology. Because when you stop chasing outcomes and start mastering your inner game, the world will not shake you, Jimmy. No. Let's not just survive success. Let's lead with strength, clarity, and calm. Like an absolute, true business athlete. There you go, Jimmy. There's our conversation on Stoicism this morning. Adam Holroyd coming in with, it's a great mindset. There are so many things that affect our feelings and mood that we do not need to react to. With all the news and social media today, everyone needs to remember that they do not need to have an opinion on everything. Holroyd, hallelujah, man. Hallelujah. Don't let your feelings affect your actions. And and that is the whole point of this show. Positive energy, positive content, positive momentum to help you guys get up, get after it, not hit the snooze button, and fucking slay the day. Jeff Taylor, what's going on, buddy? Why calm? I'm not calm. No way, baby. What's going on? Good to have you here in the lab this morning. Jimmy, I think we got our guest who lost the bet here. Branding isn't a logo. It's a feeling. How Lilian Santini helps purpose-driven brands show up authentically. Jim, I'm going to get some tunes set up here so we can, I see them all twisted up on the calendar there, Jimmy. I'm sorry, on the screen there. But we have somebody we celebrated a couple weeks back. We sure did. What if your brand wasn't just something people saw, but something they felt? Well, today's guest believes your visual identity is actually your energetic fingerprint. And spoiler alert, she also moonlights as a poet. Oh yeah, baby. Roses are red, violets are blue. Lilian Santini is here. And I don't know what's you. She fronts a band and names her dog after spices. You're going to want to meet Lilian Santini. Coming up right now on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. What's going on, Lilian?
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be here with you. It's summer in Miami already, so we are here sweating and celebrating the new season.
Awesome. We got Jeff Taylor joining us, centered but pushing from the moment you wake up. You got it, Jeff. Keep getting after it, brother. You don't hit that snooze button, man. You hit that snooze button, you're going to be 9 minutes behind the guy that doesn't. And Lilian, we got Matthew Roof joining us here, my Fox friend. He said he's in the comments there to say hello as well. But guys, Lilian Santini, we celebrated her a couple weeks back in the creator corner, in the community corner. She's the creative director, the founder of the Copper Portico, and proud dog mom to the Spice Girls, aka Canela and Pepper. We're going to explore why branding is way more than just a logo, how she helps mission-driven brands show up with clarity and beauty, and what music, poetry, and packaging design have in common. This one's going to be fun here today with Lilian. So Lilian, how did you come up with the Spice Girls, Canela and Pepper?
So when we first got our dogs, they are both dachshunds, and
Nice.
I wanted to name her. So I'm from Brazil, hence the accent.
Yes.
And my husband's family is from Italy. His dad is from Italy. So we wanted to get a name that everybody could pronounce without a problem. And canela means cinnamon. It seemed to be a common thing. So we decided to go with that. And then when we got the second one, we just thought about putting her name Pepper, but I never thought about the Spice Girls. But believe it or not, we have an exterminator that comes here once in a while because it's Florida.
Yes.
And when he saw the second dog, he was like, "Oh, who's that?" I'm like, "Pepper." And he just said, "Oh, the Spice Girls." And since then, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that.
I love it. Lilian, you're in the branding world, and you say that branding is how something feels. And we're big onto feeling here in the show. We're always talking feelings. Can you walk us through how you capture that feeling in branding, Lilian Santini?
Of course. So usually I have a very deep conversation with my clients. I believe that meeting the person and really know what moves them is what makes the brand strong. And after we have this conversation, I am able to distill, if you may, what are the feelings that the person wants to convey in their brand, and also the feelings that they want their clients to feel when they first see the brand. Because these days everything's so fast, everybody just looks at you, looks at your brand, and they just assume things in 5 seconds. You have very little time to make your impression. So I want to convey, I want to make sure that we are picturing and putting that person and their brand in the best light possible, in the way that they want to be honored, not the way that everybody else is doing. But everybody's different. Everybody gets to be authentic and show their own light out there. So that's the work that I do.
Yeah, I see it, Prateek Shah. Good to see you in the lab here this morning. My feelings, I got it. Good to have you in the lab here, brother. I invite you to subscribe to the channel. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to get your ass out of bed, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Joined with Lilian Santini this morning. Lilian, what's the biggest branding mistake that you see wellness and beauty companies making daily?
Trying to look like everybody else. And trying and not putting their story in front of everybody before anything else, because everybody has their own story. And sometimes you feel that, the most interesting thing about yourself is probably your faults and your weaknesses. What makes us human is what makes us interesting. And sometimes people just want to I'm going to look together here. Let me look like I'm very put together. And then put myself next to this person that already, or their brand that looks very perfect. But then you want to look like everybody else. You go on Instagram these days, everybody looks like everybody else. The only way to stand out is to stand up for yourself and show up as you really are. So bringing to your brand, your story, how this came about, everything that makes you different is what's going to make you stand out. So don't try to look like everybody else. Think about your strength and also what makes you different.
That seems so obvious and cliche these days. Am I right?
To look like to try to look different.
Well, everybody's taught be authentic, be yourself, do your own thing. It's a message that continues.
It can be cliche, yes. However, you cannot just go walking around say, "Oh, I'm gonna be myself." It's a work that you do every day. You were just talking about journaling, about looking deep into your feelings. This is what this is about. It's not like, "Oh, let me go look like myself." It's not that easy. It's a work that you do every day. It's a work that you do into looking deep into who you really want to be. I'm about to become 45. I have been having really deep conversations with myself about how I want to show up and how I want to feel in the next half of my life. This is what this is about,
Yeah.
Like, just look deep down, not what you want to hear, not what you think that other people want to see, but who do you really are and what do you want to show? You came to this life to be somebody and to fulfill a purpose. It's up to you to figure it out how. And it's usually the easiest way possible. We strive to be the best, and sometimes what are you doing right now might not be exactly what you came here to do, because it's not that easy. It's not coming easy to you. So deep down, what do you think you came here to do? And go do that thing in the best way that you are capable.
Yeah. Lilian, you're a musician and you're a poet.
I'm not a musician. I might be a poet, but I am not a musician. I just love AI, and I found a way that I could use AI to just bring my poetry to life in a different way. And I have a lot of fun with that.
How have you used that skill set to approach brand storytelling?
Not necessarily with my clients. Usually I use my music and I am even a little cautious when I say music because I know nothing about music. I just play with AI in there, but I play with that for my own brand because the way that I am able to show my feelings and to show the deep, if you want to say about like the weakness, the things that keep you up at night. I have an album out there that is about my struggles with infertility. I put that into music. One day I got really mad here about, oh my God, nothing's working, but I'm not going to give up. I'm a diamond roach. And then like I made a song called Diamond Roach. So usually I bring the things that are very troublesome to me into songs, and then I make peace with that. Recently I made a song about when it's raining in Miami and how that connects myself with solitude and how sometimes I feel comfortable just being lonely. So it's more about my brand than bringing this into other people's brands. Of course, if somebody is open to this, I'll be happy to work with songs with a brand as well. But so far, no jingles, nothing like that.
I'm curious. So I use sumo.com to make music. What do you use?
Suno.
Oh, there you go. So, hey, so you know what's funny is I'm now creating soundtracks for our shows. So I'm in the process now where we're going to make a soundtrack for every show and then release it publicly. So good time, everybody out there listening right now. I'm making music. I got a soundtrack coming up for the Community Corner coming up. Made 6 songs last night. I fucking love it, man. I love making the music, and it's all from a prompt, right?
Yeah, well, not necessarily. You have the option of going custom and adding your own music, your own lyrics.
Yes.
So I add my own lyrics there, and then I only come up with the beat.
Oh, that's awesome. Lilian, how do you help founders translate who they are internally into an external brand presence?
I help them especially through brand strategy, because before people come up with designs and logos and colors, you need to know what the strategy is going to be. It starts with the core of that interview that I told you about. Sometimes it goes like through 2 hours. Figure it out, who you are, and the personality of the person. Sometimes people are perfect for LinkedIn. They really like to be on that more like Polish platform, although LinkedIn is not being that Polish anymore, and I love that. Some people are more like, I don't know, Instagram people or any other platforms, or they just want to be featuring their articles on Medium. So I figured it out with them. Where do they want to show up and why they want to show up there, if it agrees with their personality? And then we figured it out. What is the story you're going to be telling and how you are going to be telling that story? Because branding is a lot about repetition. You're going to be saying the same thing in different ways all over again. You know that.
Yes.
So this is what the work that I do with them, and who they are talking to, which is super important because you are not just shouting to the void. So you figured it out, who you want to talk to, how you're going to show up. What is the rhythm of that? Are you showing up every week? Are you posting every day? What is sustainable? A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to commit to this for like every day. And then in 3 months, they quit. Yeah. The key is to find a way where you can show up as yourself in a pace that is comfortable for you and keep going that way. And then whenever they need, if they feel that that's the time, we start working with their design as well. So we create all the material that they might need. Maybe they need an investor to invest in their company. We create a nice deck. We strategize what's going to be in this deck. How are we going to be bringing these people in as like committed people to your brand?
We're hanging out with Lilian Santini, the creative director, founder of the Copper Portico, proud dog mom to the Spice Girls. We celebrated Lilian a couple weeks ago in the Community Corner, the Creator Spotlight, and she's here to do it here today with us as well. She's got a name up here we're going to get to in about 2 minutes. But before we do that, I got some rapid fires for Lilian. Lilian, favorite design trend you secretly hate?
I hate, like these days, there's right now there's a trend that you create a website and you like underline things and you make everything like very different fonts and just like to pop. they say, I hate that. I feel that putting yourself in a box and doing something just because it's what is up in the moment, it's a mistake. You want to make your brand timeless so that when people visit, they say, wow, I recognize that person there.
Morning ritual that fuels your creativity.
Coffee and journaling.
Most embarrassing song you love to blast.
Oh, I love country songs.
Love it.
For some reason, yeah, Keith Urban. Things like that.
Dog mom confessions you're willing to share.
I sleep with my dogs, and they are 14 pounds each, and they still kick me out of bed.
Midnight snack, salty or sweet?
Sweet.
There you go. And a Portuguese word we need in the branding vocabulary.
A Portuguese word for the branding vocabulary. Oh, that's nice. Felicidade, maybe. Felicidade means happiness, showing up with joy.
Oh, that's
make your brain joyful.
It's a good sound right there. And then my last question before we get to who we're going to celebrate in the Creator Spotlight. Lilian, if your brand were a song, what would it sound like and what would the chorus say?
Maybe an acoustic folk. I love folk music. What it would say? Let me show you how to step into your own light and celebrate your own strengths.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. All right, Lilian. Well, hey, let's get to it. We did this with you a couple weeks back. I took the big Creator Spotlight, Jimmy, during the Community Corner segment, and we shined it on Santini. And then we said, hey, Santini, why don't you come to the lab and let me give you the light so we can shine on somebody in your world? She's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So she's here today to do that. And guys, what if the reason your brand isn't growing is because it's trying to sound like everyone else? You heard Santini earlier on the show. You heard Blackman talking about not trying to sound like everybody else. We've all seen it. Brands yelling louder instead of connecting deeper. Yelling over here, just yelling. Just fuck yelling, Santini. Just yelling all over the place. Well, there's founders contorting their voice into a sales funnel just to convert. Marketing strategies that crush integrity in the name of growth. It's not just ineffective. Pardon my language, Jimmy, but it's just fucking exhausting. And it's pushing the right people away. That's why One Bold Voice is flipping the game. She's showing founders, creators, and marketers how to build trust, not tricks. With a background in applied psychology and a refusal to manipulate, she's teaching brands how to grow without selling their soul. She's a former VP level marketer with a master's from USC. She's built a 6-figure career by 30, then walked away to rebuild something better. Atta girl. Now she's a LinkedIn top 1% creator. She's the co-founder of a thriving consulting firm, and she's the voice behind the Marketing Psychologist. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is very excited and very grateful on behalf of Lilian Santini to introduce you to Miss Chelsea Burns. What's up, Chelsea? Yes. You're hanging out with me, Lilian Santini, and we are celebrating you. Chelsea Burns teaches ethical psychology-based marketing that sells with soul, not with shame. If you're tired of manipulative marketing, if you want your brand to resonate without selling out, I invite you to follow Chelsea. Study her content. It's not just refreshing, it's the future. Lilian, you nominated Chelsea for today's Creator Spotlight. Tell Mornings in the Lab Nation why we are shining the light on Chelsea today.
I met Chelsea a few months ago, and I'm so impressed by her. She is such an authentic person, and she's out there really trying to debunk all these brands that are trying to trick you into buying from them. They don't care about you. They just want your money. And she's showing people how to don't fall for these triggers and to make your own brand not being this kind of brand that is just trying to take from people, to just invite people to your brand using the right words. They are not just trying to serve themselves, you know?
Yeah. So, hey, Chelsea, here's how it works. We celebrated Lilian. We had Lilian in the lab. We gave Lilian the light. She celebrated you. So, Chelsea, I'm looking at you. We'd love to have you in the lab. Love to have you on the show. Because I suspect Lilian, I'm sure Lilian suspects as well, there's probably somebody in Chelsea's orbit, in her community, in her network, in her circle, that she's thinking they're doing awesome work. So what we like to do is we're all about kindness. Roofie, uncommon kindness, brother. We're all about paying life forward here on the show and celebrating others forward. So Lilian is passing the light over to you, Chelsea, so that you can come to the lab and celebrate somebody in your orbit for a future Creator Spotlight on the Community Corner on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. There you go. That was awesome. Lilian, thank you for that. It's a wonderful celebration. We got Lilian Santini here joining us from Miami. She's the creative director, founder of the Copper Portico. And she's a proud dog mom to the Spice Girls. We celebrated her a couple weeks ago, and we're now pleased to have her here with us today. Lilian, how can folks find you, connect with you, and engage with Lilian Santini from the Copper Portico?
Thank you for asking. I live on LinkedIn. Most of my content is in there, although I also have a newsletter on Substack called Figments of Creativity. You can find me everywhere as Lilian Santini with one L. And if you need help with your strategy or your branding, just hit me up. I'll be happy to help.
Awesome. Lilian, I thoroughly enjoyed your company today. I thoroughly enjoyed your nomination. I've enjoyed getting to know you through your content. I enjoyed celebrating you a couple weeks ago. And I hope you enjoyed your experience with me as much as I enjoyed having you on the show today.
I loved being here. Thank you so much for having me. Thank
Awesome.
you again.
We're going to grab a coffee later today, and Matthew Roof's going to join us as well. And I look forward to doing that as well with you later today. Okay, Lilian?
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care. All right, Jimmy, let's walk Lilian out of the lab. And we're going to continue the last segment of the show here, guys. And, we talked about soundtracks. Well, Uncle Keith's got something for you guys here. And I am going to get after it right now. Yeah. There we go. I got to stop this one button, though. There it is. We're going to get this one going. Multitasking mayhem to magnetic masculinity. The Community Corner Deep Dive on focus, AI, and what really makes men attractive. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Community Corner, where we are connecting the best of LinkedIn and Substack on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Today's lineup: focus, AI, emotional intelligence, accountability, and yeah, we're even going to talk about what makes a man attractive these days. Jimmy, let's get into it. All right. Evan Cutterbuck said what a lot of us know deep down. Multitasking is killing our productivity. He talked about how he used to bounce between 5 things at once. Bounce, thinking he was being efficient. But all it did was leave him scattered, tired, and half present. Sound familiar? Well, his solution was simple. Single tasking. Block time. Focus on one thing. Finish it. Then move on. And it just didn't feel better. He actually worked better. Imagine that, you guys. The stress dropped, the clarity kicked in, and he started ending his days with energy instead of feeling fried. Just like this tune. What's your take? Do you believe in multitasking or single tasking? I invite you. Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Single task, multitask, or no task. All right. Does your that's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for this one over here. Let's go to this one over here. Yeah, I'm just messing with my buttons. I'm learning a new thing. There we go. Yeah, I heard it too, Jimmy. It sounded like the pig. Does your chat GPT style reveal your age? Emily Kucharski brought some heat with this generational breakdown from OpenAI, how we use ChatGPT. Boomers like you treat it like Google. They just ask and they get an answer. Millennials, they use it like a life coach. And Gen Z, they're building entire systems inside of it. Workflows, extensions, the whole deal. But Emily's real point was this. We all approach new tools with old habits. And it might be time to rethink what we're developing. Because if we're only asking surface level questions, you're going to get surface level results. I'm often asked the question, Keith, how do you talk to AI? How do you use AI? With words. Communicate. Deeply, clearly. One of the greatest skills you can learn right now is communication, philosophy. Learn how to communicate extensively. Pass the sentence. Be curious. Is the breakdown true of how you use AI, you guys? How are you using it? Are you using it like as a Google machine? or using it to run your life? All right. The most powerful list men don't have to write. Sam Plant had just finished reading Fix the System, Not the Woman by Laura Bates, a book that opens with a long, gut-wrenching list of all the ways the author has been harassed, dismissed, violated, and minimized simply for being a woman. Inspired by that, Sam decided to make a list of his own experiences as a man. But his list? It was empty. No fear walking home at night. No one sending him unsolicited dick pics. Yeah, true story. No one questioning his competence based on his gender. No harassment, no threats, no judgment for what he wears. Nobody asking why he's not smiling. That emptiness was the whole point, you guys. Sam wasn't sharing this to center himself. He was showing how privilege often shows up in what you don't have to endure. What never even crosses your mind? And instead of saying, not all men, he asked, even if I'm not the problem, where have I ignored it? Where have I looked away? That's a different kind of courage, Sam. So I'll bring that same message to you, nation. I'll bring that same question to you, Mornings Nation. What's one uncomfortable truth you faced that made you a better man? Ask it. Ask it. Ask it. What's up, Priyanshu? I see in the comments, no baddies today. You got a baddie right here. I'm your host. I'm Keith Billis, the badass in the morning. The old Uncle Keith, the handsome chief. Boom, boom. All right. The most underrated AI skill. Yeah. The most underrated AI skill isn't prompting. No, it's learning how to press my buttons to get the music going. There you go, Jimmy. Window on Substack made a bold claim, and I'm with him. He says the best AI results don't come from some perfect prompt. They come from iteration. Treating AI like a collaborator, not a vending machine. He runs ideas through 5 or 6 back and forths, refines, builds, pushes, and the results 10 times better than a single shot. So if you're just prompting once and moving on, you're leaving value on the table. Get up, get after it. Talk, communicate, move on with it. What's up, Priyanshu? No, you're not mistaken. You're here in the right spot. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, friends, 8 o'clock Eastern time. The only live show to help you get your ass out of bed, get going. Right, Jeff Taylor? Guys, the sexiest thing about you has nothing to do with looks. Gentlemen, this one came from the Good Men Project. 10 sexy, smart things men do. And none of them had anything to do with six-packs or designer fits. It's stuff like showing curiosity, holding real conversations, having a strong point of view, teaching without ego, being emotionally present. Gentlemen, women notice energy. They notice your intellect. They notice your presence. They don't just look for the abs. Look for curiosity. So what's one quality you've worked on that has nothing to do with looks, but makes you magnetic? Ask yourself. Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you. And guys, closing up on the Substack, the tiny habits that make mornings work again. Deborah from the Morning Routine Club didn't reinvent life. She joined the 5 a.m. club for overhauling her calendar. She made 3 tiny changes that helped her morning stop feeling chaotic. She started scheduling workouts just 1 week at a time, so it felt doable, not overwhelming. She prepped ingredients, not full meals. She left her journal on top of the nightstand, not tucked away, so when she woke up, it was all there. Talk about habit stacking. She's getting after it. In that shift, it created flow. It made her feel in control before the day started controlling her. And guys, here in the lab, we say it all the same. Say it all the time. How you start the morning sets the tone. That is your Community Corner. That's it, nation. Whether it was multitasking, magnetic masculinity, or a reminder that mornings don't fix themselves, you heard something today that's worth carrying into your day. So don't just nod along. I invite you to jump in. I invite you to get after it. And if you want to be featured in the Community Corner, here's what you do. You follow me on LinkedIn. You follow me on Substack. And you tag Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends in your next post. And we might just pull your post and celebrate you, call you out to create conversation on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, we got one more to go, guys. We got a creator We're going to celebrate over on the Substack side of things. This guy started with a simple question. What would it look like to build digital freedom one asset at a time? No personal brand, no algorithm treadmill, just tools, systems, and the quiet satisfaction of owning your time again. And then he wrote this. I'm not building a personal brand. I'm building a motherfucking empire. Those are my added adjectives. That's Paul Metcalf. That's who we're celebrating today without the applause. Nah, because we're playing the tunes in. We're celebrating Paul with emotion. Paul, he's the writer behind the Solo Empire on Substack, a newsletter for creators who care more about personal control than clout. Inside, you'll find frameworks, not fluff, thoughtful breakdowns on digital leverage, and a clear through line. Build for yourself, not the feed. Now, Paul isn't here to impress. He's here to own the game and show you how to do the same. If you're serious about building something that lasts, Paul Metcalf's work is worth your time. And Paul, here's how it works, brother. We'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. We want to celebrate you. We want to celebrate somebody in your orbit. We want to take somebody in your circle so we can hand you the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight, shine somebody in your orbit. So Paul, the invite's out, brother. Come join me in the lab so we can celebrate the next creator in the Creator Spotlight. In the Community Corner, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Woo! All right, we're done. Coming up to the top of the hour. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys get your ass out of bed. 8 o'clock Eastern Time. YouTube, LinkedIn, X. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We got a big show tomorrow here, guys. And tomorrow, Jimmy, I got to check we're talking about tomorrow. What are we talking about tomorrow, guys? We are talking tomorrow about I quit complaining. Negative and complained and bellyached and bitched about stuff. Then I started hanging out on the show here, started hanging out with more positive energy. Like, now what the hell's the point of that? So we're going to talk about what happens when you quit complaining. But on behalf of the whole crew here today, the whole 2 hours of nothing but fantastic fun, we got Darren Phillips, Suresh, and Scott joining us tomorrow. Holroyd, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Lady Drew, good time. Jeff Taylor, Jay, Priyanshu, all of you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock. Jimmy, let's get out of here, pal.